Hello all you Pixel people, I am Pixel and today I would like to start a new segment on the channel that I like to call Talking Dirty. This will be a fairly regular series where I talk about Dirty Bomb and put forward some of my ideas as well as sharing my feelings on the game, its features and mechanics. So without wasting any more time, let's get right to it. For the first episode, I would like to talk about the medic role, and more specifically where it sits in the overall balance structure compared to the other mercs and roles. Now, currently in the open beta, we have got access to Sawbones, Aura, and Sparks, but we can also expect to see the release of Phoenix in the very near future. Regardless of which medic you choose, you will always have access to a healing ability as well as the ability to revive fallen players. And to be clear, I cannot stress enough just how vital these functions are to any decent team composition. Even in competitive, the vast majority of teams believe that rolling with two medics is an absolute must, and I believe the reason for this is that you are able to effectively multiply the number of players on a team by both keeping them stocked up with health and getting them revives out. However, in reality it's not quite that simple. And that's basically because the medics in Dirty Bomb require an awful lot of skill to be able to play effectively, and the simple truth is the vast majority of low and medium skilled players will be much more effective playing any of the other mercs and roles. I think what I'm trying to say is I would much rather have the lesser skilled players on my team rocking fraggers or maybe even rhinos rather than attempting to, well, rock a medic. Now, I know it sounds like I'm saying that the best players on the team should be the ones that are doing the medic role then, but honestly that comes with its own problems. Like I mentioned previously, a decent medic can effectively multiply the number of players that you've got on a team. The problem is, if you multiply lower skilled players, you just end up with even more lower skilled players. And honestly, more lower skilled players is not necessarily going to increase your chances of winning by a whole lot. Now sure, if all the players on the team are around the same skill level, this is not nearly as much of an issue. So you should be fairly okay if you're playing part of a competitive team or maybe even in skill-based matchmaking. However, when you apply game theory to the question of when should you play medic, the answer you are likely to get is rarely. Basically, you first need to reach the required skill level to play that medic effectively, and then you need to have somebody on your team who is a fair bit better than you in order to make up for that deficit created by you using medic in the first place. Now, do you see where this starts to get a little bit twisted? Now, I would like to argue that the main reason for this predicament is both down to just how difficult the medics are to use effectively, combined with a lack of lethality in combat. Some of this comes down to the recent changes to the revive mechanic, because previously you was able to basically get the revive and then hide behind that revive player and not really worry about fighting all that much. However, when these changes made their way into the game, the need for medics to be effective in combat drastically increased due to their need to protect the down players until they are standing and combat ready once again. This also increased a medic's requirement to be aware of their surroundings and make good decisions. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that these changes were bad in any way and that they should be reversed. I actually feel like the old revive mechanic made certain playstyles far too effective, and especially in competitive play. But I do believe that something needs to be done about where the medics find themselves currently in the overall balance of Dirty Bomb. You can either do this by modifying once again how the revives work and the heals work, or you could slightly increase their combat effectiveness. Now, if it was up to me, and let's be clear, it's not, and I wanted to basically increase their combat effectiveness, I would look at maybe increasing a medic's self-heal rate, slightly increasing their base HP, or maybe even giving them an extra magazine of ammo at spawn. Now, by increasing their self-heal rate, you basically enable the medics to play a more whack-a-mole style, dipping in and out of cover before getting a few shots off and healing. I really like the idea of making the role so much more individual, so I don't think it would be an awful idea. However, I do understand why some people would claim that this would allow medics to be maybe a little bit too self-sufficient. Giving them slightly more base HP would simply make them a little bit more sustainable as well, which would slightly make up for their lack of general combat effectiveness. I mean, they are medics, maybe they could be a little bit healthier than everybody else. Whereas giving them an extra magazine of ammo will allow them to more focus on the supportive role rather than having to break away from the pack quite as often to go and get ammo and stuff. If you decide that you want to keep all these things the same but you would rather look at how the revive mechanic works, then you've got options for that as well. You could actually try removing the revive invulnerability and adding a damage reduction for a couple of seconds that is not interrupted by a player shooting. This would make each revive so much more meaningful and most importantly incentivize higher charged revives, because what you like as a medic will be compensated for by the increased effectiveness of the revive player. Now, I would personally like to see a system which in future maybe incorporates the health remaining from a downed player into the revive and the health pool as well, but that's really a subject for another video completely. I suppose what I'm trying to say in this video is that I believe that there is still a lot of room for improvement when it comes to the overall balance and mechanics around the medic role. And while it's not awful in well balanced teams, I feel that it is possible to address the issues around public matches without massively skewing the effectiveness in balanced matches. Through good design and implementation, I am sure that in this case we can both have our cake and eat it too. Anyway, that's me done for today, folks. That said, I would love to hear from you guys what you feel about personally when it comes to the medic role as it is today, so feel free to stick your thoughts in the comment section below this video. If you like the idea of this series and you want to show your support by giving it a like, it would be very much appreciated. If you are new to this channel, remember you can always slap that subscribe button for some more PC gaming goodness. I have been Pixel, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.